All right, guys, while we're waiting for it to start up here in another minute, type in who you think is going to win the Masters this week. Type in what golfer you think is going to win the Masters. Let me see it in the chat. I want to see some chats going. Come on, who's playing, Amber? The best golfers in the world.
I'm not going to lie to you, Sean. I don't think I've ever watched a complete game of golf in my life.
Leslie, I'm pretty sure Arnold's not going to win. He's been dead for 6 years.
I don't know a lot of golfers' names. Is Tiger playing?
Tiger is playing, yes, defending champion.
Who's that young kid that's been playing really well?
That's Colin Morikawa.
Yeah.
Matthew Wolf.
No, the first one you said.
Okay. He won the PGA. All right. If you guys are not in the call, go ahead and mute yourself, if you will. Up at the top of your screen, you'll see a speaker, and you can just click that and make sure it's muted.
Hang on a minute. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait up.
Sean, you're muted.
Use. All right. We ready to go now? Can you guys hear me?
Yep, you're good.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, guys, and thank you for jumping in, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the opening session with Joe and Scott Euler. Great information there, and I know all three of the sessions earlier were rocking and rolling. So this is a little more of a presentation style, but feel free to jump in the chat. Talking about leveraging social media to generate business. I am Sean Carpenter, been licensed for 22 years, served as an agent, a branch manager. I was our director of agent development for about 11 and a half years, and now I'm back actively selling real estate out of our Upper Arlington office, and also have my own company called Sean Speaks, where I travel the country and talk to real estate audiences. I've done obviously mostly virtual this year with the COVID pandemic, but excited to be with you guys talking about social. And really the whole point of social is to stay connected. If you are tweeting or Instagramming today, connect with me. I'm at Sean Carp. You can also find me on Facebook as well, but I'm primarily on Twitter and Instagram at Sean Carp. Let's start with this, guys. Number one rule of real estate, if you get in the business or you've been in the business for a long time, you know that the number one rule of real estate is when in doubt, disclose. And so I just want to disclose that I don't think I'm an expert. Ashley asked me to do this presentation. I am very active on social. I think it gives me a great opportunity to build relationships, solve problems, and have fun to a larger audience, both freer, faster, and further than I could personally, but I'm not an expert by any means, but I do actively use it. Some rules of the road that you need to think about, just big picture with social media, would be things like this, guys. Social is about transparency. And making sure that people know who you are behind the scenes, I think, is a critical aspect of what social is about. You know, it's about making sure that you can hold yourself accountable to what you say on social media. And especially from a real estate standpoint, making sure that you're not going to be out there as a pretend avatar or with a fake name. You're going to be out there trying to, get your brand and your service out there. For some people, transparency is really sexy, but I get it. There are people out there that think transparency from the other side of the curtain is very scary, and they don't want to share who they are and what they do and why they do the things they do. So that's going to be up to each of you guys to decide which side of the curtain you're on when it comes to transparency. I think honesty is important. Making sure people can trust what you're talking about is super important. And I think being yourself, making sure that when people meet you offline, that you're the same person that they met online, right? If you're a fun-loving, humorous person online, then you should be that in real life. And I think we can always just remember the wisdom of our kindergarten teacher, right? Think about these rules when it comes to social media, right? Say please and thank you. Be polite. Don't interrupt into conversations you weren't part of if that's not the etiquette of the forum you're on. Wait your turn. Follow the rules of the platform you're on. Be willing to share and take turns. You don't always have to be in every conversation. And understand that social networking works better if you can create communication. And so I'm going to really turn this presentation into sharing a bunch of ideas for you, because I find that when it comes to leveraging social media to generate business, it's about using social media to create opportunities to have conversations. That's what it's for. There's no one way that you're going to get business. There's lots of different ways you can post and share ideas. And at the very end of the presentation, I'm going to share a link to all the things I shared, as well as a bunch of ones that I didn't have time to share in just a 30-minute presentation. But let's just start with this, understanding that social is about your ability to connect. And that's what every one of us should be trying to do as a real estate agent, is trying to connect with people both in person and globally in some regards, right? We want to try and serve our customers, our clients, and our communities. And let's look at that word connect as an acronym, right? The C stands for conversation. Every social media post is about trying to generate a conversation. Your social media approach should never be just for people to listen to you. It should be about trying to create conversations with people, whether that happens in the platform or whether it happens offline in direct messages, private chats, or phone, text messages, or in person. The O stands for observation. Using social media to observe what's happening around you so that you can share what is happening around you and observe the other things that people are talking about. All the presenters today that I listened to talked about having a CRM, a contact relationship manager, a customer relationship system. And if you observe what's happening on your social media feeds, you can then fill your information in on your CRMs. The first N stands for new relationships. That's what this business is about. We're in a relationship-based business, so we've got to create new relationships. And the second N stands for now, because social media is about what's happening right now, right? Yes, we can go back and look and post about things that happened last week on social media, but really, especially with Twitter and Instagram and Facebook Live, we're talking about what's happening right now. The E is engagement. And I highlighted this one because that's what everything is about, is how do we create engagement, conversations, relationships to grow our business. The second C stands for consistency. And this is where I think a lot of people fall down, not just in our business, but in all of social media, is they just don't have a consistent approach to social media. You look on their pages and they haven't been on there on a regular basis. Now, you don't need to be on there every second of the day, but you probably need to make an appearance a couple times a day, because the same reason why local news channels have a morning news show and a lunchtime news show and an evening news show and a late news show is because there's different audiences on at different times of the day. So being consistent is critical. And if you do those things, you'll earn trust. You'll start earning trust from people that you have in your following, in your sphere, in your friends list. And that's what it's trying to do. So think about, am I connecting with people on social media? So very quickly, the channels that we have to talk about, right? There's Facebook, obviously the largest one. And Facebook is kind of that backyard cocktail party. It's where people are going to talk about their families and their hobbies and their interests and their vocations and their, things that we can learn about. There's Facebook Messenger, which is basically the private chat side of Facebook. And a lot of people are doing a lot of business through Facebook Messenger because it's quick and it's in our hands anyway. Twitter's my favorite. Twitter's the cocktail party of social media. It's the fast-paced cocktail party. I love it because it's fast-paced. You never know what you're going to get, and you got to get your conversations in. I can be on Twitter for 25 minutes, and I can listen to sportscasters and stand-up comedians and realtors and friends around the country and have great conversations. Instagram obviously is become one of the most popular ones because there's not a whole lot of thinking involved with Instagram. It's visual in nature, and so it's a slideshow of our lives. There's LinkedIn, which is kind of the boardroom of social media. There's YouTube. Don't forget YouTube, guys. YouTube is a tremendous social media channel, and it's one that almost every age understands. My mom's 84 years old. She doesn't understand Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, but she knows how to watch videos on YouTube. And so as Scott talked about, and as Robert Smith talked about in the breakout session, getting on camera is critical these days. There's Snapchat, certainly a different audience for Snapchat, and TikTok. I'll admit right now I don't really have a TikTok presence. I've just chosen to build my business on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and channels like that. There's also still Pinterest. There's Facebook Live. Facebook Live is a great opportunity to go live and talk. Curtis Clemens does a great job of going live. His personality and his style are fantastic to go live. There's Instagram Live. so many different things we can do. And I'm going fast on purpose, guys, because I want to get to the ideas of what we can do. So do me a favor, in the chat, type in, what are some of your favorite things to share? It doesn't matter what channel, you're on, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. What type of content gets you the most engagement? What type of content gets you the most engagement from your audience, regardless who that audience is? So sharing home renovation ideas is the first thing that pops up. Excellent. And I'm going to talk about that in just a bit. Humor, cooking videos, love it. What are some of the things? See, it doesn't always have to be about real estate. I want people to know you're in real estate, but I also want them to know you're a mom or a dad, that you're a runner, that you're a loyal fan of the Iowa Hawkeyes, or whatever it might be. Whatever engagement we can get, right? Jillian says photos and asking people what, the either or questions. Fantastic. So let's go through some ideas. Let's finish up this breakout session, fast paced and furious. I'm going to share a bunch of ideas that I've grabbed screenshots of different posts that might help you start thinking about, I need to get more creative. I need to get more ideas out there to share. And I'm going to share a bunch, but then at the end of the session, I'm going to give you a link to 50 plus ways to share social media posts. All right. How about a question of the day? I love this one because if you want more engagement on Facebook, ask more questions, right? Look at this question I asked last week. If you could teach your pet to do one thing, what would it be? 147 comments. How about this one? What's one vegetable that you love and are surprised others hate? Right? Look at the comments on that. Guys, don't overthink the questions. When you go to see a stand-up comedian, usually the ones you laugh at the most are the ones that talk about what happens in real life. When you're laughing and you look at your friends and say, oh my God, that just happened to me. Questions. If you want more engagement, write this down. Use more question marks and fewer periods. Write it down. More question marks and fewer periods. That's why you need to get engagement through questions. How about local listing images or updates, right? Here's the Bisher team talking about one of their new listings, right? And what a great, subject. Why wait a year to put in a pool when you can have one now? Nice way to spotlight something in their house. Here's Alexis Capel with our Polaris office. Does a fabulous job of showing off her renovations and her properties. She not only does it on Facebook, but then she builds a video into it. So she kind of kills two birds with one stone. She gets the conversation going, and then she shows a video of that. Love that idea there by Alexis. Market updates. Market updates are a great way to get your professional aspect as well as your personal. The Guancel Group does a great job. Joe King's been sending out these market updates since COVID started. They don't overthink it. They just literally just cut and paste it and put it on their social feed.
Right.
People that will read it, right? It's so simple. My friend Anthony Malafronte with My Tampa Agent does a little more of a detailed one. Some of your friends, guys, are analytical. They're left brainers. They're architects, engineers, accountants. They want to see charts and stats and graphs. Dave Oswald with Coldwell Banker Burnett up in Minnesota goes on Instagram every single week and does a 30-second video where all he does is build a little PowerPoint. He puts the camera behind him. He talks through the 5 or 6 slides. And it's a nice way of showing he's got his finger on the pulse of the market, right? How simple are market updates? You don't have to do them every day, but once a week. Why would you do that? Because you want your followers to know that you're a real estate expert and you have your finger on the pulse of the current market. Whenever someone says, how's the market? They're asking about how's the market here. They're not asking how's the market in Boise, Idaho. They're not asking how's the market in Honolulu. They're saying, how's the market here where we live? Use the word if in your posts, right? If you could have one character from a fictional movie be in your life, who would it be? Look at that, 55 comments. Guys, all I'm trying to do is create engagement with my people so that at that moment, they're thinking of Sean Carpenter when they type that in. And then every time someone else posts, my stuff's going to show back up on their wall. It's how you can kind of hack the Facebook social algorithm. Is the more engagement you create on your posts, the more your stuff's going to show up on your friends' feeds, on the top stories page. Also then, the more people that engage, the more notifications go back to everybody saying another person answered Sean Carpenter's question. Here's a question I asked earlier this year, right? Name a food that if in front of you, you'll keep eating, right? And look at how many people responded. 81 people talked about chips and salsa or potato chips or pretzels or pistachios or whatever it might be. Silly questions, but now I know what my people like or don't like. Gardening and landscape articles are questions, right? Anytime you can talk about that, you're going to see which of your friends love the outdoors, which people love the aspect of of home ownership that is getting their hands in the dirt, right? And you can start maybe finding that. This is a great one if you have a Facebook business page to probably have a gardening or outdoor question of the week or maybe of the month. Maybe every Thursday you ask an outdoor type question. Furniture or household items or questions. Look at this one, guys. How many of you guys have a junk drawer in your house? Yeah, everyone has a junk drawer. Some of you guys have multiple junk drawers. Sometimes you clean out a junk drawer and put your junk into another junk drawer. So once again, asking that question. Look at this one. Who else has a plastic bag full of plastic bags in their house? Look at how many people commented on that. That is the most basic question, yet it got so much engagement that more and more people got to engage and laugh about kind of the idiosyncrasies of having a bag in their house, right? What are the things in your house? Someone earlier said either or. Do you like this couch or this couch? Contemporary or modern, right? Or contemporary or old school? Pottery Barn or IKEA? What are those different things you can feature or a spotlight? My friend Todd Waller, who's an agent in Ann Arbor, Michigan, his Instagram, when he goes outside, he finds unique things about a property and then posts it on his Instagram. Check out this stained glass window. Look at his one last week was a little frog on the front porch, a little ceramic frog, gargoyles, bird baths. What are those little unique things about a house that you can spotlight? And if you tell people, I was out showing houses today in Anderson, check out this cool barn, that people now know you were doing what? You were out showing houses. Yeah. Mentor shout outs. I love this one. Guy on the left there, Dominic Antonucci, best boss I've ever had in my life. I love finding people that have helped me get to where I'm at and give them a little shout out on social media. There's Kim Doherty, the great director of training with Coldwell Banker Gundaker in St. Louis, who is kind of the reason why I'm in the role I'm in today. And obviously there's Joe King from our awards event last year. But guys, anytime you can give a mentor or someone that you respect a little shout out, maybe tag them and invite their circle of influence into your business, I think that's a fantastic way to show the people that that you're not egotistical, that you appreciate people that help you get to where you want to be. You can substitute the word mentor shout out to maybe former client shout out or peer shout out, right? Recognize an agent in your office, recognize your manager, recognize your staff, right? The great staff we have working for us here at Coldwell Banker, King Thompson, and Coldwell Banker West Shell, from the sales support center all the way down to the branch offices. How about inspirational quotes? This is one I think when you're not sure what to post, you can always drop an inspirational quote in there, right? Lori Weston Davis is a friend of mine. She's a real estate agent in Pinehurst, North Carolina, and she has just so many funny little things that she posts. I guess this is kind of an inspirational, smart aleck post. But here's the thing with inspirational quotes, guys. If you're going to post something inspirational, attach it to a photo. Because when you're scrolling through Facebook, you're not going to stop if you just see text. You want it to be picture or attached to a video. So grab a picture, and I'll share a couple sites later where you can add those pictures in to a site where you can drop those in. In fact, here it is right here. Use apps like WordSwag or Canva or Typorama that allows you to go in, grab a photo like this one back here. On the right-hand side, I just typed in open road. I found a stock photo. I was able to pick the kind of the photo I wanted. I was able to drop in the words there. I was able to pick the font I used. I was able to move it around and resize it on the page. And then that becomes a nice post that I can post on Facebook or on Instagram that's going to catch people's eyes and leave a nice quote. What do you guys like using? Is anyone, type in the chat box what you guys use to add words to your pictures? A lot of people use Canva. I love WordSwag. WordSwag gives me about 30 or 40 different fonts. I get different layouts. I get different colors. I use it for almost everything that I post out there, including dropping in market updates. All right, we got a lot of people like Canva. So listen, guys, if you don't know what Canva is, I'd be saying, wow, a lot of people in the chat like Canva. I better go out to my app store or the Google store and download Canva, and then maybe set an appointment with your e-marketing coordinators and say, hey, I want to get together and learn how to use Canva to start adding words to my pictures for social media. Great job. Famous people or celebrity birthdays. I love this one because it gets people talking, right? Just find out whose birthday it is today and drop it in the chat, right? Or drop it in your post. It gets people talking, right? You can see I got some of my interest there. I'm a Grateful Dead fan, right? So I'm going to attract Grateful Dead fans to comment on that one. I'm a Florida Gator. That's where I went to school. So when Tim Tebow's birthday on August 15th, right? It's also the same day that Ben Hogan's birthday, one of my favorite golfers. So what about who are those famous people that you can find on this day in history, right? Find out what's going on in this day in history. I mean, obviously we got things like 9/11, we got D-Day and things like that are history, but also what are some of the things you can talk about that are going to make people engaging, right? So don't just say on this day Seinfeld started. Look, I don't know what I was doing. I was scrolling through the news feed, or maybe it was on Timehop or something like that. And it talked about Seinfeld's episode of the Soup Nazi was on there. And I said, what's your favorite line from any Seinfeld episode? And look at how the comments started rolling in, because that's something almost everybody knows. Sitting in the airport in Chicago, and I realized it was my 21st anniversary. So I kind of talked about, hey, this is my 21st anniversary as a licensed realtor. I was able to put that out there, got lots of engagement. What happened on this day in history in the past? In fact, it's a great site to check out if you don't already have the app Timehop. Now, Facebook does this for us as well. Facebook will show us memories from this day, but Timehop is going to connect your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, right? And it's going to show you what you posted on social media on this day last year, the year before that, the year before that. It's a great way to see who you were with and why you were there. Because if I can realize I was taking my clients out for cocktails after a closing 3 years ago, I can share that photo with them and say, God, can you believe it's been 3 years since you closed on your property? We should get together and grab happy hour again sometime soon, right? What a great little remembrance of on this day in history. How about song lyrics? You guys know I'm a huge musical person. I love song lyrics. It's my pinned tweet on Twitter that gets tons of engagement. I love asking questions about song lyrics because, guys, everyone can get engaged on questions like, look at this one. Name a song title where the singer asks you to do something. 92 comments. Change just one word in a song to completely change the song. 111 comments. Name a song that has something to do with weather. 149 comments. That's 149 people for a split second thinking about Sean Carpenter. And then every time someone else posts, they get re-notified about that. Song lyrics, song lyrics, song lyrics. Colors, people's names, cities, vehicles, so many different things that you can ask a question to get people engaged in your conversations. How many of you guys are getting some good ideas right now? You guys writing these down? Are you guys taking notes? Are you guys going to do some of these things? Type in the chat box and say, I'm definitely going to start doing some of these things to get more engagement on whatever channel you're on, guys. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Local sports teams. Gosh, I love this one. We're so blessed here in Cincinnati and Columbus to have teams like the Crew and the Blue Jackets and the Buckeyes and the Xavier and Cincinnati and Kentucky and Northern Kentucky and the Reds, and gosh, so many great teams. So share the love. Look, Marty Micah down there in the corner with his Blue Jackets, and there's Scott Aberze, and there's Dave Allery with his Xavier Musketeers, and obviously Scott, many of the people in Cincinnati are huge Bearcats fans. Great job by the Bearcats this year on their team. John Carlson's a Coldwell Banker manager in Chicago. A huge Bears fan. Every single Sunday, he's going to post, hey, the Bears play this team. What's the prediction of the game? And it's funny how he engages with all the people based on their picks. People love to talk about their local teams. Share a YouTube video, guys. This is easy. Whether it's humorous, inspirational, motivational, on Twitter or Instagram, on Twitter or Facebook is a great place to share those. You can also share YouTube videos on LinkedIn. But I think sharing them is great, but also, giving a little reason to why you shared it. This YouTube videos, guys, landscaping and home repairs videos can be perfect things to put on your Facebook business page when you're sitting there thinking like, we haven't updated our business page in over a month. Let's put some stuff on there. Maybe a Friday video every month. What's that going to be that's going to be spotlighted on your page? Household chores or questions, observations. I love cutting the grass. So I always talk about getting out there and cutting my grass there on the left. I asked a question there on the right about if you could do one or the other, electrical or plumbing. Which one are you going to do? Which one are you going to hire out? Look at my buddy, third comment down, Todd Meininger, sub out both, stick to yard work and grilling, right? I love that comment. But once again, I can engage then in the comments, guys. It's one thing to post. It's another thing to go in and engage in the comments so people are validated that you paid attention to their post, and then go in and keep those conversations going both online and offline. Local establishment spotlight reviews. A lot of our agents do this really, really well. Here's my guys from Agape, Aaron and his team, amazing people that come and do trash outs at our listings. A lot of us use them in the Arlington office. Incredible service. I love finding people in my local communities doing things. You guys have heard me talk about being blog worthy, Instagram worthy, Facebook worthy, finding people. Here's my friend Amy Carroll. Amy's a rising star agent with Coldwell Banker Realty down in St. Petersburg, Florida. She is always spotlighting her communities. What's going on? She does it in her stories. She does it in her posts. She does it in her newsletters. Finding people in and around your communities doing some cool things, and then spotlight them. Maybe a little interview with a shop owner, a barkeep, a landscape company. Local activities and tips, another thing from Amy Carroll with her A-team down there. And you know who else does a great job with this in our company, guys? Mike Spicer in our Northern Kentucky office. Man, he's moved to downtown Cincinnati, and he and his wife, Tanya, they are constantly talking about the places they're going. Yeah, sure, a lot of them have to do with going out to dinner and happy hour and drinks, but he's starting to tell the story of the community that he lives in and serves, and he loves to talk about those things. Great job always sharing ideas there with that. Vacation updates, right? Sometimes it's nice to earn that vacation. Let people know where you're at. Give tips. Let people know you enjoyed it. Give people tips on where you stayed, where you ate, what you did. Scott Euler was just down in Pinehurst. Kathy Shiflett when she goes on her Buckeye cruise. Listen, when I was on vacation last year, some of you guys got engaged in this. I lost my wallet. And so I told a story, a long post about my wallet. But these 2 posts on my missing wallet got over 300 comments because it was like a little story that people wanted to know what was going on. And I sort of got to invite people down to my vacation. Kind of fun and neat way to get engagement. Sharing stuff in the Coldwell Banker brand, right? I'm super proud of Michael Alford and Cody Butler, 2 of our representatives from Ohio on the Coldwell Banker 30 Under 30. When you see the brand share something, tag it out, share it. Use the hashtag Coldwell Banker, use the hashtag GemBlue. Anytime you see something with our brand doing the good things, share it out. Nature photos work well, guys. I love taking photos. I put them on Instagram and Facebook, and I try and put a little caption. So just think about sharing photos as much as possible, and get people engaged in what you're doing, what you're seeing. Because all it takes is someone to say like, hey, I played that golf course, or hey, I went to that vacation spot, or hey, our family goes there, and P.S., my grandma needs to sell her house. All we're trying to do, guys, is earn that top of mind awareness. Seasonal shopping tips. Look at Walt Gibbler talking about his favorite places to go to bars outside with outside patios. Love that, right? Here's Lori Weston Davis again talking about Christmas. When you see local companies like Mad Tree Brewing Company or Rheingeist or Columbus Brewing Company or Elevator, share their stuff out. Let them know that you're a local supporter of the community and you're going to share. And a couple more as we get finished. Listing open houses. I did a virtual open house at my listing in Columbus the other day. 400 views as of now. The cool thing is I got like 250 while I was doing the open house, and I'm still getting views, still getting exposure for my seller. Curtis Clemens does a great job of being himself at his open house guided tours. And Jeff Mollett in our Arlington office does a great job of always promoting his open houses on social media, both with video and with printed or text updates. Great job by Jeff and Curtis on that. This one, guys, that website, write it down, holidayinsights.com. It gives you the funny days that we're in right now. Yesterday was National Avoiding the Chaos Day. But don't just post what it is. Ask a question and look at the one on the right. National Dive Bar Day. What's the name of your favorite dive bar? And look at the number of people that love to tell me about a dive bar. Simplest piece of advice, 177 comments of people chiming in with simple advice. Pets and photos obviously work great. Shout out to Cody Butler's dog up in the top right corner. There's my dog, Callie. Down in the bottom right-hand corner, my friend Sharon Steele with Coldwell Banker in New Jersey. Her beautiful dog out on the beach there on the Jersey Shore. Netflix shows, documentaries. I'm just throwing out a bunch of ideas, guys, because I want you to think about how do I get more engagement? How do I get more people to respond so that my stuff will show up more on their feed? Do-it-yourself home improvements. It can be both questions. Here's Lee Brown out of North Carolina, does a great Inside Lee's Kitchen, where she does cooking. And then my friend Tim Lehman with Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage in Iowa City gives little tips on shutting off your outdoor spigots when it gets cold. What a great little 30-second video to remind people what you need to do. I think I got 2 more podcast suggestions or reviews. Anytime you're listening to a great podcast, make sure you share it out with people so that both the podcast presenters, the guests appreciate the little shout out. And then random gifts, guys. Using random gifts in social media is a great way to do it, right? There's lots of ones that we use. GIFs are just animated little videos. Obviously, anytime you can drop an office into a GIF is great. And my all-time favorite GIF is this one right here. This little boy shouting out respect to the great Derek Jeter. I use that one quite a bit in my comments or just as a post. So hopefully you guys got a lot of good ideas. There's the website. Write it down. Take a picture of the screen. It is password protected. So when you go to my blog, you're going to need to type in the password Sean Speaks. Sean Speaks, and you'll be able to download 50 different ideas. If it's just one a week that you do, I just gave you ideas now. And some of these you can use obviously daily or weekly, but hopefully you got a lot of good ideas. Amber, I think we're almost to the end of the hour. Perfect timing, but are there any questions from anybody? I'll leave that up so people can write that down. Amber, what do you think?
Well, it looks like we've had a lot of interaction in the chat, but I haven't really seen many questions. It's been a lot of kind of responses to your questions and stuff like that. So does anybody have anything they'd like to chime in? We've got maybe just a minute we can do. Any questions do you guys have? But a lot of thanks to you, Sean, a lot of great ideas. And let's see, Krista maybe wants to know about business pages versus personal pages.
Yeah, so I've always had just a personal page, guys. If you're not going to advertise on Facebook, I don't think you need to have a business page. That's the whole reason why you'd have a business page. If I can do everything that I want to do on my personal page. Now, once again, if you're going to advertise and really want to try and build a local community following up, get a business page. Here's what I'll say, Amber. I defer that answer to your local e-marketing coordinator and let them tell you why you should or shouldn't have a business page. But too many business pages I know in real estate go abandoned after 3 or 4 months and they haven't been updated. So they end up becoming kind of dead real estate.
Yeah, I think consistency is critical regardless of which way you go. So, yep. And it looks like the follow-up question was almost the same. Where do we post all of this, right? So you kind of just answered that. But other than that, I'm really not seeing a lot of questions, a lot of comments saying that's super helpful. Thanking you for your time. I love this website. I'm keeping that for my AMP students. So I think there's been a lot of really great ideas put out here today. Just let's see. Sam just threw in a question down here. What short video content gets the best engagement for you?
Well, short video content that gets, obviously Instagram stories. I think you can do like a nice little, because they're quick 15-second little blips. But what really works for me, Sam, is when I do my Ask Sean. I go sometimes Facebook Live. I do those specifically when I travel and I have a layover. I'll go live on Facebook and just do Ask Sean, where people can ask me literally anything. And the consistency of that, I do my Lost Lyrics show since COVID started on Facebook Live, where I just, it's a music kind of trivia show that's become, kind of something I do. But try a bunch of things, Sam, and see what gets the most engagement, and then do more of it, right? You might want to think about answering a question, right? Answering a real estate question once a week. If every Thursday afternoon you went on Instagram and said, hey guys, it's Amber Palnick with the Bexley office here at Coldwell Banker. It's Thursday, which means I'm answering a question from one of my consumers. And today's question from Mike is earnest money required in the state of Ohio? Great question, Mike. And then you can give a little 1-minute answer that goes out over 4 or 5 15-second stories. And if every Thursday Amber does that, and then the rest of the week she's Amber, the wife, and Amber, the dog owner, and Amber, the runner, and Amber, then people are going to start seeing every Thursday. That's right. I got to remember, she's also in real estate. Perfect.
All right. Well, I think we need to button this up and head back over to the final remarks. There's a couple more closing comments from Joe. We also have a giveaway drawing and some upcoming holiday stuff coming. So, so if you guys want to join us over in the main session for a wrap up, I'm going to put the link really quick here in the chat just in case anybody needs it.
Amber, if people like my ideas, I'm doing a CE class on Friday, available to all the agents on both sides. Go to Sales Pro, I think, and they can sign up. It's called Creating a Better Story for Success. So if you like these ideas, 3 hours with CE included on Friday.
Awesome. Good plug. That is in Sales Pro. I just saw it. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Sean.